Hello, welcome back to the Lisa Wessan Show. I'm Lisa Wessan. I'm a psychotherapist, life coach, author, and speaker based in Westford, Massachusetts. I'm at the Westford Center for Counseling and Holistic Therapies with a team of fantastic practitioners. And I'm really grateful to be able to share with you some things I'm doing now in the office that are really getting fantastic results. Everything gets tried in the Lisa Lab of Life. That means I'm trying it personally before I bring it to my practice. And dialectical behavior therapy is something that's been in the world probably for at least 20 years. But when it was first introduced, DBT was designed for treatment for bipolar and borderline patients, which is considered a very severe mental challenge. And what's happened over the years is we've discovered through science that, and testing and retesting, that these tools, these are it's a psychoeducation package, help everybody with mild anxiety to fears of driving, to parental problems, child education stuff. It helps people focus, so it helps people be more productive, it helps release stress, and it helps you release unwanted bad memories from childhood and wherever. So anyway, today I'm starting a series called Discover DBT, which is based on my personal and professional research and experience with this work. I had the pleasure of studying with Dr. Marsha Linehan herself. She's the developer of this work from Seattle, Washington. Last summer at Cape Cod, I was with her for a week, and I've spent other week-long programs with her to get certified. So DBT is an educational program, and honestly, I want this to be taught in third grade. What I'm going to be doing for the next several weeks really should be third grade curriculum. I'm not sure how many weeks I'm going to do this, but I'm starting today. So can we start with, I have a great slide on what is dialectical behavior therapy. The slide number 3, the 4 critical DBT skills. There we go. So basically, DBT includes distress tolerance, mindfulness, emotional regulation, and interpersonal effectiveness. And today we're going to be looking at mindfulness. Now, the mindfulness piece has to do with learning how to stay in the present, learning how to not be judgmental, learning how not to argue with reality. I'm going to cover all these today. And learning how to be not attached to the current moment, to learn how to go with the flow and be less controlling. How many people here consider themselves recovering control freaks? Anybody? Anyway, if I had an audience of 500, which I sometimes do, like more than half the hands go up. So control really comes from a desire to make things go well and have a good life. People want to do well, but when you argue with reality, what does that look like? Something bad happens and you say, this shouldn't have happened, or he shouldn't have done that, or she shouldn't have said that. It's the should word, basically. You're saying it should have, could have, would have done better if, blah, 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 blah. And when you argue with reality, you lose, but only 100% of the time. So when bad things happen or difficult things happen, it never, ever, ever pays to say should. And I tell people in my first session usually, I tell them, banish the word should from your vocabulary. Because when you should on yourself, S-H-O-U-L-D, or you should on your family or your other one, your workers, whatever, people basically shut down when you do that anyway. They get so annoyed. They don't want to hear it. So anyway, the good thing, what I love about DBT, is it helps you turn that judgy energy into something embracing, which is called radical acceptance. But we're going to cover radical acceptance in a future session, not this. It's not today. So today, what is mindfulness? Pete, can we see the slide on what is mindfulness, being present in the moment? Being present in the moment is being able to live intentionally and have nothing distracting you. So waking up from your automatic or rote behavior to participate and be present to your own life, what that means is you're not reacting automatically when something bad happens or when something is interfering with your plan of activity. You're just staying with the presence of awareness of what's happening with no judgment, okay? Now, being without judgment may seem like science fiction to you. But it's one of the goals of DBT is being able to have experiences and not judge them. To be able to look at it, to observe it, to say, this is what happens. Learning how to participate and describe a process without giving it the whole editorial is an exercise. We learn how to do this. Most of us do not know how to be non-judgmental. Most of us, something happens, and let me tell you what happened. Boy, did he have a lot of nerve, blah, 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 blah. So being in the present without judging, this is a goal. And we can be able to we can have discernment, we can let go of the evaluation, suppressing or blocking the present information to the point where it makes us so unhappy, just describing what happened, which is the goal. Now, another thing we want to learn is when something is good even, like let's say you're with your romantic partner or a best friend you don't see very often, and has this ever happened to you where you're with someone you love and you already start feeling sad knowing they're going to leave, like in a few hours or the next day or the next week even? Not living in the present. So attachment to the moment is another idea in mindfulness that we work towards. And some of this is coming from the Zen philosophy, because the Zen people have really worked hard to be non-attached. So being in the present without attachment is a goal. And it happens in phases. Sometimes you get a little bit of it, you get a glimpse. Sometimes it happens in a huge awareness or an insight, The awareness and the insight happens, and you go, oh my goodness, now I understand what she's talking about. Like, things happen over time. It's like it's percolating. Non-attachment is percolating. It doesn't always happen right away. Sometimes it does, if you're lucky. Here's a fun joke that just came to mind that I will share with you. Let me get it right. How come the Buddha could not vacuum his sofa? Carol, how come the Buddha could not vacuum his sofa? Any ideas? No? He had no attachments. All right, I love that joke. If we had a big audience here, they'd be laughing, hopefully. Anyway, so the Buddha could not vacuum his sofa because he had no attachments. Is making fun of the fact that we have attachments. We use them a lot in our lives. And attachments make us miserable. Attachments make us miserable because we're trying to keep things the same. And one of the basic premises in DBT is that everything is changing. It is futile to try to keep things the same. And most people want to keep things the same for the most part, So how do we move forward? How do we manage to get from point A, let's say where we're very judgmental and we're very harsh on ourselves or other people, to point B where we are practicing radical acceptance, fully understanding that we are powerless over certain things in life and we can only go with the flow. And this, again, I'm going to do a section on radical acceptance in a few weeks. Well, there's something called wise mind. In the DBT schemata, can we see the wise mind slide, please? Thank you. How to access wise mind. So this is an important diagram in DBT. So basically on the side of reasonable mind is the part of your mind that is very cool, rational, and task-focused. And this is the part of you that is ruled by facts, reason, logic, and pragmatics. Values and feelings are not important to reasonable mind. Now, reasonable mind is often called to rational mind or doing mind. Rational mind and doing mind. Now, emotional mind is also called being mind, feeling mind, but emotion mind. So emotion mind is when you're feeling hot emotions, very mood dependent, emotion focused. When in emotion mind you are ruled by your moods, feelings, and urges to do or say things. Facts, reason, and logic are not important. Now, okay, come back a second. So what's important is that you need to have rational mind or reasonable mind, and you need to have emotion mind. But when one of them is running the show, you are miserable, or you're making people miserable around you. Okay, so for instance, when someone is living in reasonable mind is kind of like robotic, and they're completely cold and aloof and not connecting, and this is how it feels. You feel left out, you feel ignored, you feel neglected. Now, there are certain careers and this is total stereotyping, but let's just say that people who want to stay in reasonable mind, who don't want to feel their feelings ever, hardly ever, they're attracted to accounting, maybe law, programming, software, computer scientists often are living in reasonable mind. They don't want to deal with feelings, or they can't. Some people actually have a chemical wiring situation where they don't even have enough mirror neurons to feel empathy or to feel the emotions. Those are conditions that are not healthy that can be worked around, but very often those people don't want the help. They feel like they're okay being like robotic. One could say that the Nazi mentality was living in reasonable mind. Just values and feelings are not important. Just focusing on goals. An emotion mind, you're a hot mess. If you're living in emotion mind, you absolutely can't concentrate, you can't get stuff done, you can't make the phone calls, you can't finish your reading. You're overwhelmed. Person living in emotion mind is just flat out overwhelmed, almost can't do anything. It's like this, like you're pour me, maybe pour me a drink or pour me a malted. They're in the victim consciousness usually also. That's a whole separate thing. We'll talk about that, if not today, in another section. But emotion mind is not. So what is the solution? Wise mind. Now look at that. Let's look at that diagram again. Now the wise mind is the part where the wise mind in each of us is able to access the best of emotion mind and reasonable mind. The best. So it takes the feelings and the nuances and all the brilliance of emotion mind, which is valuable. That's how we do art. That's how we sing. That's how we dance. That's how we do creativity. That's how we love our children. Emotion mind is important. And the best of reasonable mind, and there you are. It's like a nice, soft humming place. You feel good. How do you know when you're in wise mind? You feel peaceful. You feel useful. You feel a sense like you're contented. All is well. You're in the right place at the right time. That kind of feeling. Synchronicities are happening. Things are going well for you. Now, in DBT language, we call it wise mind because we want to make this practice available to everybody. We don't want to be exclusive and say, this is God mind, or this is where spirit lives, or this is where Jesus lives, or this is where whatever. We don't say that publicly, and not that it's a secret. There are books written about what is wise mind. If you Google wise mind, you will see it's not just a metaphor, but every single human, no matter what your background, has access to wise mind. And then you can amplify and magnify whatever with your spiritual belief system. This is where the wisdom is. For some of us, maybe it's the Holy Spirit or the Holy Ghost. Like, who knows? Anything you want to do with that. But this is the place where you access. Okay? Now, interesting with this work in psychology, there are so many layers. So I'm presenting today the skeleton of DBT. And then you can flesh on your own belief systems that makes it more palatable or worthwhile for you. And that's how it works. Kind of like learning how to play the piano. Everybody starts learning certain exercises, and then you go into your own, whether it's jazz or classical or whatever it is. You learn your thing. So I'm teaching you the basics. Now, what we're going to do now is a brief accessing wise mind is your ticket to serenity. I like to tell my clients, in every life, there's 10,000 joys and 10,000 sorrows. Or as we say in New York, 10,000 joys and 10,000 oys. There's no escape. Tall, short, thin, fat, rich, poor, whatever. Everybody suffers, and everybody has good days and bad days. And you could say, I often feel 10,000 joys and 10,000 sorrows. That's a good deal. I think the people who live through, the killing fields in Cambodia, or the Holocaust, or September 11th, as I was in September 11th, it's not 10,000. It feels like more, but whatever. Theoretically, we're getting the same amount of joy and pain. So I want to take a few moments now and do an exercise to help you access wise mind. And Pete, for this we're going to use that lovely music, that Fluidscape, if you could put that on. And we're going to just be here for about 5 minutes or so with our eyes closed. And I'm going to guide you through a lovely meditation to help you access your wise mind. Begin by putting your dominant hand on your heart area and your other hand on the belly button area. And this is the heart chakra and the solar plexus chakra. And we're going to take some focused breaths together to prepare for accessing wise mind. So let's breathe in together. Breathe in excellent health and breathe out disease. And I'm sorry, let me remind you that we're going to breathe into the count of 4 and breathing out to the count of 8. This is slow breathing. This is purposeful breathing. Breathing into the count of 4 and breathing out to the count of 8. Okay, breathing in excellent health and breathe out disease. Breathe in infinite wisdom and breathe out ignorance. Breathe in harmony and breathe out chaos. Breathe in acceptance and breathe out anxiety. Breathe in peace and breathe out fear. And breathe in, I am in wise mind. And exhale, wise mind is in me. Again, we're going to breathe in, I am in wise mind. And exhale, wise mind is in me. And now you can rest your arms down on the sides, on your lap, palms up. And we're going to just take a little bit of a journey into accessing your wise mind. Imagine that you are by a clear blue lake on a beautiful sunny day. Then imagine that you are a small flake of stone, flat and light. Imagine that you have been tossed out onto the lake and are now gently, slowly floating through the calm, clear blue water to the lake's smooth, sandy bottom. Notice what you see, what you feel as you float down, perhaps in slow circles, floating toward the bottom. As you reach the bottom of the lake, settle your attention there within yourself. Notice the serenity of the lake. Become aware of the calmness and quiet deep within. As you reach the center of yourself, settle your attention there. Just allow yourself to enjoy floating in the water effortlessly at the bottom of the lake, quieting your mind. And let's slowly breathe in wise. And breathe out mind. Breathe in wise. And breathe out mind. And just one more. Breathe in wise. And breathe out mind. And allow yourself to settle into this wise mind moment. Maybe you're getting a glimpse. Maybe you're getting a little bit of a glimpse. And when you feel ready, slowly, slowly, come back to the space and open your eyes. So we're back. Now, if you're with me, I'd say, how was that? What happened for you in that moment, in those few moments? And I hope that you got some value in relaxing in that moment. There are dozens and dozens of these techniques that we use to access wise mind. And in the group that I run on Wednesday night, we do a different one every Wednesday night. We start with a relaxation technique to access wise mind. And there's lots more to learn about that. So I want to just continue now with the last few moments sharing what could be considered a nice mindfulness practice. If you find yourself having trouble staying in the moment, you're living in shoulda, woulda, coulda, you're suffering with mental anguish because you can't seem to get yourself focused and your productivity is down, these are 4 things that can help you. Meditation, I like to tell people, now we just did a meditation. It's a broad word, and I like to say the only way to do it wrong is to not do it at all. You can set a timer for 2 minutes and sit quietly and just do this breath work, breathing in a positive word, breathing out a negative word. I'm going to share an app. It's also a website. It's called Insight Timer. I'm sorry to make a slide for this. I'll do it next time. INSIGHT, and then the word timer, TIMER, is a wonderful free app that has fantastic meditations and relaxation techniques, body scans, all kinds of things that will help you access wise mind. I recommend Insight Timer. And basically, you want to focus your mind. That's what we're hoping to do with any kind of meditation, is just to focus your mind to relax and get a mini vacation out of it. And you're focusing on body sensations, emotions, thoughts. They're going to come in and out like a ticker tape, running on your mind. And the goal of meditation is to be able to see the ticker tape but not react. The ticker tape of negativity never stops. But we learn to just not pay attention to it. Just take a break from it, a little time out from it. Contemplative prayer is another way to access wise mind. And whether it's Christian centering prayer, or the rosary, the Jewish Shema, Islamic Sufi practice, or Hindu Raja Yoga, all of these are spiritual mindfulness practices that will get you to accessing your wise mind. So they're all good. Many paths up that mountain to access wise mind. Now, mindfulness movement, thank you. Mindfulness movement is another way to go. And when I go hiking in the woods in the morning, I love my mindfulness movement because it's a way of connecting with nature. It has many, many forms. And when you connect with nature, however you do, whether you're swimming or hiking, I like to say, hug a few trees. Tree hugging is actually one of the many DBT skills. The energy exchange is powerful. So mindfulness movement includes yoga, martial arts, such as Qigong, Tai Chi, Aikido, karate, spiritual dancing, hiking, horseback riding, and walking are all ways to practice mindfulness. And of course, just dancing in your home. You can put on good music that relaxes you. It shifts your brain chemistry. And anything that shifts your brain chemistry from the negativity ticker tape to something else gives you a window in. It's like your doorway. We need something to shake off that negative thinking and try something different. And when you do this with focused intentionality, it really makes a huge difference, as opposed to just willy-nilly putting on some jazz or some rock music and then what am I doing? People feel good when they sing along to dance or rock, whatever, because it takes your mind off your trouble. So we are consciously doing this to help us access that wise mind place. And when you're in wise mind, again, to summarize, you feel peaceful, you feel useful, your ideas seem to line up like ducks, get in order, you feel hopeful. It's a good place to be. All of us who do this work are striving to be there. We'd love to be there 24/7, 365. Am I there now? No. At this moment, I'm actually feeling pretty good, but I'd like to say that probably 60 to 70% of the time I'm in wise mind now, and the 30% has to do with dealing with traffic or people being late or insurance imbroglio, whatever, things going on that I have to keep recentering.